Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I know it's Christmas, jolly time and all that, but there's still going to be a rant, so you better buckle up.
And welcome to yet another episode of Crown and Comments with your host and resident Goldwing guru, the one, the only, Cruiseman. Brought to you by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Videos.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Crown and Comments, the last one for 2025, episode 52. It is December 2025. I'm your host, Cruiseman, and we're going to wrap this year up with some pretty cool information. First, thank you, Dawn, for the introduction. Before I get into the rant, because I may not be in the mood to do this after my rant, I want to go ahead and wish you all a Merry Christmas right now. I'll go ahead and wish you a Happy New Year, but I will probably do a year-end wrap-up from my brother's house in West Texas, because I always go out there the day after Christmas, and I'll probably shoot a video while I'm out there, and we'll little year-end wrap-up back there. Now that I've wished you a Merry Christmas, I think I can change my hat. I don't want you to have to look at this through the whole video. Okay, for those of you that are new, and maybe this is your first time watching a Crown and Comments, let me tell you real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to just tell you real quick what it's all about. This is once a month I get together with everybody, and I just kind of go over some of the comments that I've picked out that you've put on my YouTube videos. And so I've picked out my comments. I got my MacBook Pro over here. We'll go over that in a minute. I always also like to go over news and stuff going on, what's going on around this YouTube channel, news in general around the motorcycle industry. First of all, I'll give you a real quick update on our group cruise. Some of you know about this. If you don't know about it, let me tell you real quick. We have blocked some space on a cruise ship. Most people can't ride their motorcycles in January, so we decided to get people together that want to go on a group cruise. I'm pleased to report that we blocked a group of staterooms on this brand new ship. It hadn't even come out yet. It's coming out in 2026. And our sailing is January 2027. So it'll be pretty much a brand new ship. Anyway, it's on the NCL Luna. And we blocked some space. Well, our space that we blocked is already half full. We've already filled up half the space. Now, if you're interested in the group cruise, I'll put a link in the description of this video where you can get a lot more information about it, costs and all that stuff. You can reserve a stateroom and hold it up until October for just a $125 refundable deposit per person, $125 per person. So if you decide 6 months from now you don't want to go, you can cancel it, no penalty. And it'll all be explained on that website where I send you. I'll put that link in the description of this video. I want to remind you that we have a new military discount on my maintenance videos. Now, if you are active or retired military and you send me an email, I will send you back a code that you can use to get a discount on my Honda Goldwing maintenance videos. I just wanted to remind you about that. I was going to talk about this drone video I did recently, but I think I'm going to wait until the comment section because a couple of the comments are about the drone. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you're new here, the reason we call this Crown and Comments, I just thought I'll throw this in, is because Crown Royal is my favorite adult beverage, and I always get a glass of Crown Royal, usually, unless I do this in the morning, then I'll have some coffee. I invite you to get your favorite beverage and just enjoy the show. We have heard from a lot of people that have told me they know they've subscribed to this YouTube channel, but when they go back and look, it shows they're not subscribed. I don't know if YouTube is kicking people off the subscriptions. I don't know what's going on, but make sure if you have subscribed, make sure that you are still subscribed. And if you're not, just subscribe again. Doesn't cost anything. And I want to take a second, like I always do, and thank my YouTube members. Now, membership in my YouTube channel is a way for you to show that you support the channel, you support what we're doing here at Cruiseman's Garage. It's those people that have they spend a little bit of money every month. You get some behind the scenes videos, you get early access to some videos, and you get some videos with no advertisements. Like this video. This video will be available to my members without any ads, so you don't have those interruptions. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you sign up for my email newsletter, because I have a free newsletter that goes out periodically. And if I get deals on certain products from vendors, motorcycle-related products, sometimes they're tools, sometimes it's my merchandise, like this hoodie, which, by the way, I love this hoodie. I've been wearing it. I've never worn a hoodie in my life, and I only ordered this because I wanted to be able to show everybody on the videos what the hoodie looks like. And now I'm like a hoodie junkie. I love it. I'm going to actually order another one in a different color with a different design. Sometimes those deals in the newsletter are on my merchandise, sometimes on my maintenance videos. You just never know. So it doesn't cost anything to sign up. You can unsubscribe at any time. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you everything I know about the 2026 Goldwing. I do know a little more, I think, than what I knew last month. So we're going to talk about the 2026 Goldwing right after this.
Sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue.
Welcome back to Crown and Comments for December 2025, the last show of its kind in December. I'm sorry, in 2025. 2026 Goldwing. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by this. In fact, all my predictions really came true. I'm basing this on, nothing's been announced in the United States as far as the 2026 Goldwing. But they are showing 2026 models on the UK website. One of you pointed this out to me in a recent video. I went and checked it out, and sure enough, they are showing 2026 Goldwings on the UK website. We can assume that the US models are going to be the same as the UK models. I can't imagine them having a different version. There's no changes. It's basically the same motorcycle. I did a video recently talking to you about why I thought it might be a good idea to buy a 2025 Goldwing. Well, this was part of my message, is that there may not be any changes in the 2026 at all. You're getting the same motorcycle, but maybe you like the colors on the 2025 models better than the 2026. For example, the silver. And that's not an anniversary model, but it's a 2025. If you want an anniversary edition, you would have to get the two-tone gold and brown, which is more the traditional old school color scheme, or that, I think they call it Bordeaux red, which it also is it's not really two-tone, but it's got some graphics, pretty cool looking graphics on it. They have those in stock. But as far as I can tell from the UK website, there are no other changes to the 2026 Honda Goldwing. So if we get the same colors here that they have in the UK, I can tell you what those colors are. And I'll show you pictures on the screen. One is I think they call it gunmetal black, and I think it's that kind of two-tone, really dark gray and black metallic. It's a pretty cool looking color if it's the one I'm thinking of. If it's the same one that my friend Bob has, it's a pretty nice looking color, and it's got some pretty nice graphics on it. The other one is the Ardent Red, which they've had since 2018. And it must be a very popular color because Honda is, I think they've had it every year. Have they had Ardent, except for 2025? Have they had Ardent Red every year? Seems like they have. And then they've got this one they call Mud Gray. Now, what a name. That's a terrible name. But I think it's a metallic, kind of that dove gray. To me, it looks like primer. It looks like the motorcycle's been primed and ready to go to paint, but hadn't been painted yet. I'm not a big fan of that color, but a lot of people must love it. I see a lot of cars around town that have that same kind of paint job. So I'm not saying we may not even get those colors in the US. We may only get 2 of the 3. We may get completely different colors. I don't know. But I am telling you that that's what they have in the UK right now. That's what they're showing on their website. So let's just assume for a second it's the exact same motorcycle as a 2025. It does come in these 3 colors. And there's no other changes. There will be one other change I'm almost positive of, and that's is going to have a higher price. The price is, every year I've been, 20 years, 22 years now, 20 years I've been messing with Goldwings. The prices have gone up every year. And every year we keep saying, oh, we want this feature. Oh, we want this feature. I know a lot of you are going to be disappointed because you're not getting adaptive cruise control, or you really get it. If it's like the UK, you get nothing. You're getting absolutely nothing that you didn't get in 2025. I've got to ask myself the question, do I want to move to a 2026 just for the wireless Apple CarPlay, which I can get anyway with my Carlin kit? But there is a new audio interface, and there are a few changes to the bike in 2025, 2026 over the 2024 that I have now. Mostly dealing with the audio and navigation system. And can I justify that moving to a newer model? I've only got 5,000 or 6,000 miles on my Goldwing on my 2024. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. As far as the colors, I'm not sure. I'm not a red guy. I'm damn sure not a mud gray guy. But if the black is like Bob's, I don't know. It's pretty nice looking. His bike is really nice. I've never had a black motorcycle. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to reveal it yet. I don't know yet. It would probably be spring before these things are shipping anyway, before we'll be able to get them. I don't know. I don't know when they're going to be available. They haven't even announced anything yet. So I'm just speculating. Did Honda miss an opportunity? Well, we've said it every year. Every year I've been on YouTube, I've said, why didn't Honda do this? Why didn't they do that? Why don't they do this? They don't listen to me, that's for damn sure. That's all I know about the 2026. If you know more than I do, put it in the comments down below. I always invite you to comment. I read every comment. You might even end up on Crown and Comments next month. Who knows? Okay, when we come back, I'm going to talk about my rant. And it's a good one. And I had to really decide because I had 3 different topics that I was trying to figure out which one am I going to rant on, but something happened just in the last couple of weeks, and I decided that's the one. That's the rant. So prepare. Has nothing to do with motorcycles. I'll warn you right up front. So if you want to skip past it, I have an index in the description of this video. You can click past it and go right to the comment section. But if you want to hear my rant, that's coming up right after this.
Sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Crown and Comments, December 2025. I am going to talk about airlines. Now, some of you may or may not know. Recently, Ricky and I went on a trip to Europe on a Christmas Markets River cruise. For those of you that don't know, we also have a YouTube channel for the cruise industry where we review cruise ships, destinations. And we were on an assignment for Viking River cruises in Europe. So we had to fly from Dallas-Fort Worth to Amsterdam. That's where we got on the ship. And then we sailed from Amsterdam on the Rhine River to Basel, Switzerland, got off, And the plan was to fly from Basel back to London and then London to home. So as far as our flights were concerned, it was DFW to London, London to Amsterdam, and then on the return, we were getting on the plane in Basel on a British Airways flight, flying to London Heathrow, where we were supposed to get on an American Airlines flight. And things did not turn out the way we had hoped. The way over was fine. We got to Amsterdam on time, spent the night in a hotel, got on the ship the next day. But coming back, we had to get off the ship at 4:20 in the morning to get to the airport in Basel, Switzerland in time for our, I believe it was a 7 a.m. flight from Basel to London. We get to the airport and they inform us when we check in that the flight has been delayed, and it's been delayed for 4 hours. Our flight from London to Dallas is at 10:15 in the morning, so we're going to miss our connection. We know we're not going to make that American Airlines flight. Here we are sitting at the Basel airport at 5 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do. They told us that British Air would take care of this. They would rebook us. They'd make sure we get our connection on another flight. That did not happen. We never heard another word out of British Air. Ricky was able to get on the phone to the Platinum desk at American Airlines, and she got someone who told her they were going to get us seats, 2 seats, there were 2 seats left, on a 3 o'clock flight, on a British Air flight from London to Dallas. Okay. So I'm happy. At least we're going to get home that day. We don't have to spend the night in London. We don't have to, we're not delayed a whole day. There's another little twist to the story. We had booked and paid for premium economy seats, a much higher price than a regular economy seat. And now those premium economy seats because the flight we were booked on is gone. But the person at American told us they were able to get us premium economy seats on the flight, on the British Airways flight at 3 o'clock coming home. So we thought, okay, we get to London, we go to the British Airways desk, and they tell us there's only 2 seats left on the plane, and they're not in premium economy. They're in economy. And they were what Ricky would have considered at the time to be the 2 worst seats on the plane, because you're sitting right across from 4 bathrooms. So you're going to be on a 10-hour flight watching everybody on the plane go in and out of the bathroom. We even considered not going. We considered spending the night in London, flying out the next day on another flight just so we could get better seats. Plus, we had paid for these premium economy seats. Well, long story even longer, we decided to go ahead and take the 2 economy seats, the 2 that they had left, fly home. We get home a little bit late, maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, but we were home the same day. That part's good. Now, what happens to the fact that we paid for premium economy, but we ended up in economy? Well, we got an email from British Airways a day or 2 later. I'll read it to you. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. But basically it says, we're very sorry you were downgraded on your recent flight to Dallas, blah, blah, blah. And under EU regulation, they cite some regulation, you're entitled to a reimbursement as follows. And they give several different examples. The one that applies to us, it says 75% of the actual fare paid for the segment on which you were downgraded. But we don't know how much the London to Dallas segment cost, because when we bought the tickets, we bought them through American Airlines, and you just pay so much for the round trip. They don't break it down. They don't break the price down in how much each segment costs. So we have no idea how much that specific segment cost. But here's the important part. Please note, the reimbursement is based on the fare paid and does not include reimbursement of any taxes, fees, and charges. Okay, well, at first glance, that sounds sort of reasonable. But then we go back and we look at our receipt from American Airlines, which I have right here, and I'll put on the screen for you. And you can see that our ticket, each of us paid $1,565.23 for the round trip ticket. I don't know how much that segment is out of that $1,565. We just paid the total amount. But you'll notice underneath something I never really paid attention to before. $441 was the actual price of the ticket, plus taxes and carrier-imposed fees of $1,124.23. That's 71% of what we paid were the taxes and carrier-imposed fees that British Airways says are not part of that 75% refundable. They don't have to refund the taxes and the fees. And carrier-imposed fees. So why not just sell the ticket for $1 and make $1,564 carrier-imposed fees? This is how they treat you now on an airline. This, my friends, is a scam. So what it boils down to is we could have flown in economy probably for $400 or $500 a piece, but we wanted that little bit extra comfort, so we paid $1,000 more per person. And we'll be lucky. I don't know. We don't know yet what we're getting back, if anything. Because now they're playing the blame game. We got an email today from American Airlines saying, oh, this is a British Airways problem. And British Airways is saying, you need to contact American Airlines because that's where you bought the ticket. You see what I'm saying? Is that back and forth? These guys are scammers. We'll be lucky, I'm thinking, if we get back $50, $75 out of all the money we paid for these tickets. So, but you do get the pleasure of flying on a full flight with morbidly obese passengers sitting right next to you. And what is the deal with all the people in the wheelchairs now? I mean, there's wheelchairs lined up in the jetway of people getting on the plane that can't even walk to get on the plane. And it's funny because those same people, when we land, they're the first ones off the plane. They're running down the jetway. They're just using the wheel. It's the miracle of flight has healed these people somehow, and they can't get on the plane. But see, with them, when they're in a wheelchair, they get to get on first. They get to get on first, pick out their seat or get their seat, get their luggage in the overhead bins. They get to do all that. But then somehow during that flight, the healing powers of high altitude take over, and when the plane lands, they jump up and they're off that plane in a flash. We've been seeing this for years. You know, people 30, 40, 50 years ago when I first started traveling, people that were in that condition didn't fly. They just didn't leave home. They stayed home. And then you get the people with the screaming babies. We love those people. We hope they sit right behind us for a 10-hour flight with that kid screaming the entire flight. That's why you've got to have noise-canceling headphones. And it's this ear-piercing screech. But that pales in comparison to the people that are coughing the whole way. They're sitting right behind you, coughing right in your space. That's always pleasant. And we usually try to sit in an exit row because I get more leg room being tall. I like a little extra leg room. And there's this drill the airlines go through. If you sit in the exit row, the flight attendant comes back before the plane takes off, and you have to verbally agree that you're willing and able to assist people getting out that little exit window, which is about this big. Now, the flight attendant, there's no way we're going to get her fat ass out that window to begin with. So I guess I have to do it because she can't fit through the window. The flight attendants on American Airlines are usually elderly, obese women. There's no way we're going to stuff her ass out that window and get her off that plane. She's going to have to go through the big door in the front. Hopefully, that's not the part of the plane that breaks off in flames. So there's that. But yet she's telling me I have to be willing to assist. I'm going to assist people. I'm going to be the first one out that window, and I'll get out of everybody's way. How's that? Is this a legal binding contract? If I sit in an exit row and I say, yeah, I'm willing and able, does that mean I have to do it? Am I going to be held legally liable if I don't? If I just get off the plane and get the hell out of there? Oh, and then there's the people with the bare feet. I love these people. They wear the sandals with the bare feet. Then they take the sandals off because why wouldn't they? And they put their bare feet up on the bulkhead. And they're doing this on the cruise ships now too. People will sit in a lounge with their bare feet up on a chair that you might be sitting in. They'll use it like an ottoman, but they get their bare feet. Am I the only one? Tell me, am I the only one? You know what I'm talking about if you travel. And of course, the safety demonstration. There's always that. And I never have understood, you got to have your seat back in the upright position for takeoff and landing. And the seat only reclines, I will try to demonstrate, like this. This is die, this is live. This is die, this is live. You got to have that seat back in that upright position. It only goes back an inch. It's not enough to matter. But that's okay. And then they go through the demonstration, which they've done my entire life, of how to buckle and release a seatbelt. I'm going to propose something. If you don't know how to buckle a seatbelt in 2025, you got no damn business being on an airplane. You should. Greyhound bus is your mode of transportation, okay? Or drive, hitchhike, walk, Star Trek transporter. I don't give a damn how you get there. You shouldn't be on an airplane if you don't know how to buckle a seatbelt, okay? So anyway, that's my rant for December 2025. It was going to be on the healthcare system. I guess I'll just have to wait till January because that ain't going anywhere. Okay, when we come back, I'm going to take your comments, I'm going to answer your questions, and that's coming up right after this.
Sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with the sky.
Okay, welcome back to Crown and Comments 2025, December 2025, and now I'm ready to read your comments, your questions, and we'll just go from here. And the blood pressure's coming down. The crown is kicking in, thankfully. Let's get started. Lou Sellers, hey Cruiseman, happy Thanksgiving. Have you noticed that the software on the 2025s is different? It has a different look about it. Is there anything to it? Have you investigated whether changes were made? Is there an update that we can put on our older bikes? Yes, it is different. It's a whole different hardware and software. Everything's different. No navigation anymore. Different interface, different menus. The look and feel is different. I think they may have changed the Bluetooth connectivity because it seems to be more reliable in my minimal testing I've done. There is no update for the older bikes. So if you have a 2024 back, you cannot update because it's brand new hardware. It's not even located under the seat where it was before. It's actually mounted under the trunk. Thank you, Lou, for that question. Dan Marquette, Cruiseman, you just made my Christmas. He said, I've been jonesing for a 2025 Goldwing Anniversary Edition for several months now. My beautiful bride has seen me watching various videos and just shaking her head. Today, after watching your video, my video, I used some of your pointers on her, specifically buying at the end of the month and the end of the year, And to my surprise, she replied, yeah, maybe you should just go get one. I'll see if we can wrangle a good deal tomorrow when I head up to my local dealer in Austin. Fingers crossed that I come home with a new red Goldwing. Very cool. Well, Dan, all I got to tell you, number one, I hope you got a deal. I hope you got a good deal. If not, you can come all the way up to DFW Honda. They'll make you a deal, I'm sure. And or you could go all the way out to Tennessee, but DFW is pretty close to where you live. But here's the one thing you have to do is you're going to have to come to First Sunday Breakfast in January if you do get that new Goldwing. So you got to come to DFW anyway. So you're going to have to ride up, come to breakfast with us because we want to see that new Goldwing if you get it. Okay, this is on a video I did years ago about how to disable the TPMS light on the dash of a previous 5th generation Honda Goldwing. This is from Hidden Shutter. He said, this was so helpful. I really appreciate it. The problem for many of us is that the batteries in the valve stem or the TPMS unit, sending unit, have gone bad. The one comment that I would add is that I had to look at the splicing portion a few times to be certain that I was splicing the 3 wires. He goes on and explains it. Basically, he was able to get his TPMS light to go out. It's about $300 or $400 to replace the TPMS sensors on those Goldwings, and a lot of people just don't care about it. They don't want to spend the money, and they don't want to have to look at that light forever. So I came up with a hack, a way to disable that light. You had to splice a couple of wires, but you can't do it on the new ones, but you could on the old one. Okay, Chuck Roberts said, can you recommend a headlight strobe module for a 2023 DCT Goldwing, and do they hurt the headlight? I used to have a Pathfinder, I'm sorry, not Pathfinder. I used to have a Path Blazer from Keeson on my 2018 Goldwing. In fact, I think the person that bought that bike still has it on there. And I had used the Path Blazer for years on every Goldwing I had owned. And I don't know of another headlight modulator. I haven't really investigated it, but Keeson has gone out of business, as some of you know that have watched this series. So if any of you know of a headlight modulator other than the Keeson, put it in the comments down below. I'd be curious, and I know that Chuck would be curious as well. To my knowledge, they don't harm the headlight. I've never had an issue with it, and I've used them on every Goldwing I've owned. And I've never heard of anybody having an issue with it. This is from Greg. This is on my 12 essential modifications. Hey Chris, love your videos. I have a question. I have a 2025 Goldwing and I love it except for the seat. I was going to Canada and I don't have a cell service. What do I do for road maps? I only have Apple CarPlay and use Google Maps, but without cell service, what do I do for maps? With Google Maps and or Apple Maps, you can actually download regional maps so that the software continues to work even if you're offline, if you don't have cell service. So I'll put links in the description of this video that explain how you do this, or you can just Google it. How do I download offline maps for Google Maps? And you'll see a website that'll show you how to do this. So you can do it. Russell Ham says, did your maintenance video cover 2007 Goldwing trikes? Not specifically trikes. About 80% of my videos would apply to any trike because you're talking about changing the oil, you're talking about radiators and front end stuff. I don't get into how to take off specific panels from a trike because there's so many different trike kits out there and I don't have access to them to make a video. But you'll still get value from my videos if you own a trike. Now, if you own a trike and you have my videos, put it in the comments down below. I'd be curious to know and what your experience has been with that. Okay, this is from Dragoris. Hands down, the 50th anniversary model will hold its value more and will be more sought after than any other Goldwing. Oh, that was the point of my video. I think that's true. Rainman Smith, I would love to buy the two-tone gold anniversary model. The reason I haven't, because my wife would divorce me. Well, you know, we all have to make tough decisions in life. and that's one of them. There are other wives out there. There are not going to be any more anniversary edition Goldwing, so I'll just leave you with that thought. Now, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Dale said, "Are Honda Goldwing not selling? Love your videos. Admit it, you are selling Honda Goldwings. Admit it, you're selling." I guess he means I'm selling Honda Goldwings. Well, I'm the lowest paid Honda Goldwing salesperson in the country, if that's true, because I don't get a commission. If you buy a Goldwing, I don't get anything. Homeless Nomad said, "Love your video on Moto Trike, which happens to be my favorite conversion company. With as many trikes that seem to be out there, do you happen to know of any trike owners that travel and make YouTube videos on those travels? Would really love to find some folks that I could follow." Good question. Does anybody out there know of anybody that makes YouTube videos, but they're on a trike? If you do, put it in the comments down below. I thought Slappy had a trike, but I don't think he does. Anyway, let me know in the comments if anybody out there, are there any trike channels, Goldwing trikes, where they do motor vlogs and things? This Homeless Nomad would like to know. He'd like to follow them. Steve Kimborian. "Hi, Cruiseman. Purchased a 2026 BMW R1300 RT. Great motorcycle. Will the review ever be published to all of us?" Well, I don't have a review at all. I have not been able to get BMW to cooperate and send me a bike to review. And now, the weather being what it is, it'd probably be the wrong time of year. I will reach out to BMW again and see if I can get anybody to respond, because I get more requests for a review of a BMW R1300 RT than any other motorcycle. The Newman X1. "Unfortunately, I can't afford to buy a Honda Goldwing, but I truly enjoy watching Cruiseman Garage videos. I probably watched around 30 episodes about the Honda GL. I really like the calm, unhurried style of presentation, the detailed explanations, and the genuinely interesting topics. Wow. When I watch these videos, I look at those images, enjoy them as if I were the one doing the maintenance and riding a Honda Goldwing myself." Well, thank you so much for those kind words, the Newman X1. This next comment is from Robert White Moto. Everybody knows Robert White. If you haven't checked out his channel or subscribed, make sure you do so, at Robert White Moto. He said, "Well, I don't have GoldRyderOne money, so I better keep what I have." That's in response to my buying a 2025 Honda Goldwing. Robert, nobody has GoldRyderOne money. GoldRyderOne is bringing it in. He found the fountain of wealth, and if you haven't followed GoldRyderOne, you want to see his wealth on display, just the trailer alone. Check out GoldRyderOne. Jonathan Humphrey said, "But Cruiseman, I've already got wireless CarPlay and the ability to use it without a headset, thanks to you and your videos on how to work around both issues. So actually, I owe you a big thank you." You're welcome. True. I was talking about how you get wireless CarPlay with the 2025 Honda Goldwing, but if you've got a Carlin kit and you have the Madehawk, you pretty much have what you get with a 2025 Goldwing, except you do get a bit different interface and a newer bike. Okay, great video. Okay, this is from VTG63. "Great video, Cruiseman. Thanks for sharing. Just purchased my 2025 non-tour 50th anniversary black on Friday." Those are good looking bikes. "Great deals to be had. You're right about age. I told Al Lamb himself, and Al Lamb is a dealer here in the Dallas area, when I made my purchase from Dallas Honda, that at age 62, I don't know how many more Goldwings are in my future." Well, you're younger than I am. I'd better be another Goldwing in my future. Anyway, so I decided to grab an anniversary model while I was still young enough to enjoy the ride. Love the matte black. You live apparently in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so you too are required to come to breakfast on the first Sunday of January and meet all the guys. Bring that new black bagger. We want to see it. This is from Tom Backer, I'm not sure how to say it. And he says simply, "I think you convinced me to get one, sir." So Tom's going to go out and buy a 2025 Honda Goldwing. Again, Honda, where is my commission? Sam Syed said, "Sounds more like a paid promotion, but I still love your channel." Well, it might sound like a paid promotion, but it's not. I'm not being paid by anybody, except ad revenue from YouTube. Michael Stein said, "A new V4S Multistrada, which is a Ducati, or a very low mileage 24 Goldwing." Ducati, sexy as hell. Ducati's going to have the performance, hands down, over the Goldwing. It's also got some tech that the Goldwing doesn't have. It might have the not blind spot monitoring, but it's got the adaptive cruise control. Depends on the model you get. They're just beautiful bikes. I mean, the Ducatis are just sexy as hell. I'd love to ride one. But what you're going to give up with the Ducati is reliability. There's no dealer network, not a big dealer network. So if you're on a road trip, I'd say if you're going to ride it around town, just for fun, maybe go with the Ducati. With the Goldwing, you're going to have reliability. You're going to have more comfort, long distance comfort. If you do a lot of touring, I would be a little hesitant to do a lot of long distance touring on a Ducati. They're high performance machines. They're not, Honda's just known for reliability. Simple as that. This is from the Disroster. How does the drone track? Okay, this is on the video I just did recently on the little hover air drone that I reviewed. How does the drone track you? Do you have a transmitter on you? What's the battery life like? I don't know how it tracks you. It's some sort of AI technology that they've got. This is a robotics company that makes this, but it does do a pretty darn good job of tracking you. So I don't know the technology behind it, as I don't have a transmitter on me. So it's just tracking. What's the battery life like? I have not run a battery completely down. When I did my little demo out there in the parking lot, I think it got down to like 40%. So I'm guessing you could probably go 10 or 15 minutes on a battery. And you definitely would want to have a couple of backup batteries. They're not that expensive, and have 2 or 3 charged up before you go out for a session. Okay, this again is on the drone. Do I need a drone? Now we're getting to the meat of it. This is from the Biker Bug. And he says, according to the FAA, you would need to get a commercial drone pilot's license in order to use it in business. If you only use it for personal enjoyment and don't use it in a business, you can just fly with a recreational pilot, whatever that means. I was unaware of, I knew there was a license you could get for a drone. I didn't know that this particular drone, I thought because it was so small and light, that it wasn't required, because I don't even think it can go over 50 feet high. So this got me thinking, and I got a couple of other comments like this on the drone, and it has got me a little rattled. Okay, Bob Cosgrove says, in this video, you're already in violation of FAA Part 107, are subject to potential fines up to $250,000 or 3 years in prison. I can just see me in prison next to Bubba, and they say, what are you in for? And I say, I flew a drone, Well, I'm going to end up married to the guy with the most cigarettes. I can tell you that right now. I am not going to do well in prison. Basically, I sent an email to the drone company, the lady that sent this to me, and I said, I was unaware of this. I didn't know it was that big a deal. And you probably aren't going to see any more drone videos out of me. At least I'm not going to take the time to get a license. I've got, and some people even commented, say, oh, it's really not that hard. You do a little studying, you take a little test. I've got 745 things a day that I need to do that aren't that hard. The problem is I got 745 things to do. So I just don't have the bandwidth to learn and study and go take a test and do all this. I've got enough crap to do. It's not that important to me to have it. Now, if my whole business was based around a drone, yeah, I'd do it. But And if I'm not using it for business, I have no use for it. I don't do things as a hobby. I do it for business purposes. So you guys let me know in the comments down below how you feel about it, but I am damn sure not going to risk it. The video that's up right now will probably be coming down shortly, and I'll just get rid of it. If they want me to ship it back to them, fine. I'm impressed with the drone, but I'm not going to risk my business over something like this. It's just not worth it to me. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's my last comment. Okay, that's it. We're done for 2025 for Crown and Comments. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will see you in January. First Sunday breakfast, the first Sunday of January at a wake in Carrollton, 7 a.m. Make sure you're there if you're in the DFW area. If you're not, come on into the DFW area and come to breakfast with us. We usually have anywhere from 15 to 18 guys show up, and ladies, not just guys. We hope to see you there. I will be putting out a video from my brothers in West Texas. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Please give it a thumbs up. And until I see you on the next Crown and Comments, remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.
Hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. Here we go. All right. Now this Christmas, we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance, dance, dance. Come on. Dance. We're gonna dance, dance. Have a good time. Dance, dance. All night long, we're gonna dance, dance. And have a good time. I think Santa's gonna come and join us in this song. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling.